really good thought about this in mind, noting that trying to get it as an inline change makes it worse. Forgetting everything we said before the break. Try again. Amend the proposal by first striking out item 5 in the enumerated list and inserting, or actually it would be adding as a new sentence at the end, any publication may declare itself ineligible for this category for a particular year. Now, since the person who started, Mr. Guardiola, was that what you were intending to say?
Yeah.
I believe she's just made the motion to amend in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this needs to be a second. So, yes, that motion is on the floor to amend as has been described. Stand up. Stand up to speak, you know.
Okay, does this mean that the publication has to declare itself ineligible every year, and then the declaration is for that year?
Yes.
Second motion.
The motion is seconded, yeah. Please stand up.
Jen Scott, I don't have a copy of the Constitution in front of me, but is this stated explicitly in any other category? Because I think any category that you can declare yourself your work ineligible. So if we're doing it for this one, we have to do it for the other one.
I take that as a speech against the amendment.
It's not yet, but it's just curious.
Yeah. Okay, it actually can't declare itself eligible. You can withdraw your work on different matters.
After you're nominated.
So, at least technically, but different. Yes.
Statement 4, I just checked with other members of the committee that proposed the original amendment. We believe this captures the intent of our
Thank you. Each member, speech against? Any further speeches on either side? Any objection about the amendment by unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion is so amended. So we're back to the debate on the main motion, which is to be casually described as removing the semi-prozine category. Reading the final sentence one more time is any publication may declare itself ineligible for this category for a particular year.
Sure, okay. Previous 3.3.11, best in closing, said 2, if you count here, 2 of the criteria This now says 1.
I said more than 1. The previous one said 2 or more. This says more than 1. But I think it's trying to do the same.
Well, it's trying to be better. The effect is what you want.
I will proceed to a vote. No.
I'm sorry, we're debating the substance of the proposal?
Oh, that's good. Do you want to debate the substance?
I will speak against the proposal.
Okay.
I am not an old man, but I'm old enough to have seen locusts shoved out of the fanzine category into another category and have this category created. I have seen others besides locusts win this category. I do not think it particularly necessary to delete this category at this time. I won't be particularly unhappy about it, but I don't think it necessary.
Minor point that this needs to be ratified next year to actually have any effect at all.
Well done.
Speech in favor. The reason we have categories is we like to honor works that deserve it. I am not claiming that Locust does not deserve the honor. It, in fact, has done a marvelous job over the decades. However, what is also true is that in general, we like to have categories where it is an honor to be nominated. I don't care particularly about the fact that Locust wins year after year. What I do care about is that this is a category in which I would be hard-pressed to say it is an honor to be nominated because I can't think of substantially more strong contenders in this category than, in fact, the 5 slots that we see every year. It's not an honor to be nominated in Semiprozine. It means that you're locus or interzone or one of 3 other random things. There used to be others, and now Ansible has moved into that category. But it's not an honor to be nominated in Semiprozine, and that means that Semiprozine is a bad category. I don't want to make locus no longer eligible. While locus as locus is still would no longer be eligible, the editor of locus would be eligible right now under best editor short, and for that matter, if we adopt another motion that is currently pending, locus itself would be eligible under best related work. I'm not trying to make locus ineligible. What I am trying to do is get rid of categories where it is not an honor just to be nominated.
Speech in favor of the amendment? If you wish to be recognized, you should stand. Cheryl Morgan.
Sorry, where are we?
We're looking for speech against.
That was in favor of the amendment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Ben says that there are no other magazines that are relevant to this, but when I was doing the recommendation list for science fiction awards watching, this is something on the region of 20 short fiction magazines, most of which I believe are contributors. I think there are actually plenty of magazines that are eligible for this, it's just that people aren't looking at them.
That was a speech against, speech in favor. If you wish to be recognized, you must stand up unless you're physically incapable of doing so. Yes.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the rule for that. Speech in favor. Basically what Ben said, I'm Richard Lynch. Basically what Ben said, the best editor short form makes the Semiprozine not duplicative, and therefore one of them should be gone, and since the best editor short form is the better of the two, it should stay, and Semiprozine should be gone.
Speech against?
Mr. Chairman, Don Timm. Some years ago, a man named Robert Sachs had a personality that some found abrasive, and they offered a motion to censure him. That motion was rejected by this honorable body on the very basic grounds that we ought to act on philosophy, not on personalities. This appears to be acting on personality. I hear Charlie Brown, I hear Locus, I don't hear philosophy except for the concept that it ought to be an honor to be nominated. I don't think that's a good philosophy. If the fact that the person has won an overwhelming number of Hugos in the category over the last decade is a ground for objecting to the category, Gardner has been the short form editor has been criticized by some folk for always being Gardner's Hugo. Is that a reason to cut the short form Hugo? As those who know me know, I am no friend of multiplying the Hugos, but I'm also no friend of taking an action that's not principled, and I personally do not believe this to be principled.
A point of personal privilege. I respectfully to Mr. Timm, I think that it is possible to be in favor of this amendment for legitimate reasons that are not mere personal issues, and that there are substantive reasons to pass this. I believe that many members of this body, if not all of them, are acting in good faith, whichever side of this they are on, and therefore I would not like the sense to remain that in any way that people in this meeting are acting out of pique or personal animosity towards any individual.
A point of privilege needs to request some form of action. I will interpret that as a speech in favor.
All right.
Speech against?
Two things. First, I take Ben's point, and I agree generally that weak categories should be gotten rid of, but frankly, it's not an honor to be nominated is nonsense. If I had anything that was eligible and it was nominated, I would be honored, and I think all of the people who get a nomination in that category are honored. Second of all, if the change to make it clear that web-based things are included goes through as I expect it will, I believe we will see more competition in that category. This is not a bad category. It is currently weaker than I'd like, but it's not a bad category.
Speech in favor of the...
I think it is a bad category. I think if we didn't have it, we would be adding it. And the reason is simply, Matthew, there aren't 15 noteworthy publications like this every year. Has nothing to do with any personalities or the number of awards. I have no problem with more Hugo awards. I just think this category doesn't meet the standards for creating a Hugo that this body normally uses.
Speech against the motion?
In the terms of it being an honor to be nominated, I don't think the issue is whether the person nominated feels honored, but whether others in the field agree that it is sufficient honoring. In particular, I think that the fifth best short story, the weakest nominee, is well worth reading. I do not necessarily feel the same about the fifth best semi-prosing.
That was 2 in favor in a row.
Anybody want to speak at all? If there are none, we can proceed to a vote. I'd like to have a counted vote on this. So we'll use a serpentine method. All those in favor of amending the Constitution as described here, please stand. Okay. We'll count off. Oh, you're bad. Sit down. Oh, you're bad. Sit down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8,
10, 11,
12,
13,
14,
15,
16, 17,
18, 19, 20,
21,
22,
23,
24, come back.
25,
26, 27,
28, 29,
30,
31.
32,
33,
34,
35, 36,
37,
38,
39.
Okay. All those opposed, please stand.
Yeah.
All those are over here. 1, 5, 6,
8,
9,
10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
16,
17,
18,
19, 20, 21,
22,
24. 27.
The vote being 40 to 28, the motion passes. It will be referred to anticipation for possible ratification next year.
Says next year's presiding officer.